We're sitting in another episode at Home with Vanessa, and I'm here with a really good friend of mine, Susan Howell. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited. She's a Money Maestra, a budgeting expert, a public speaker, and a financial strategist. And she's gonna help us put it all together. And I'm just really, really excited because this is gonna be a lot of information, very valuable information to all of you guys.
Really happy to be here, everybody. And like Vanessa said, we're good friends, and we both know a lot about money.
Yes.
And today we're going to talk about money and basically how everything in money is interconnected, including home buying.
Budgeting is very important to home buying. Before you buy a house, most likely you're gonna have to have a 10-20%, depending if you're buying, if you're gonna get a jumbo loan. We're not gonna get into mortgages. We're gonna get more into the budgeting of it to get into the place that you guys wanna get to. And she's an expert about that.
I am. I'm a budgeting expert, and one of the things is, I know buying a home is many people's dreams. It was my dream. But when you buy a home, you don't want to end up being house poor.
Yes.
And so you have to plan ahead of time. And I think sometimes people put the cart before the horse, where they just want to go out and look at everything that makes them happy and they want to buy it. But if you can't afford it, buying a home that is over your budget will make you house poor, and then you'll be basically a slave to your mortgage.
Yes.
And we don't want that to happen. I want everybody to own a home. I think it's amazing being a homeowner, but there's a way to do it. So you have to have a monthly budget first, because if you don't know how much you can afford to pay for a mortgage, and that means, you have to know all your other expenses.
Yeah.
How much does it cost you to live, and how much money can you allocate to a mortgage, which isn't just a mortgage, right? It's principal, it's interest, it's taxes, it's insurance. So you have to go figure out how much is insurance going to cost. And I see a mistake that people make is they look at the property taxes when they buy the home, and then they don't realize the next year your home is going to be reassessed.
Yes.
So your property value, your property taxes are going up, which is okay.
Yeah, and let me intervene there. And that's the difference with a good realtor. You're advising them on budgeting. I'm gonna be advising them on that, and that's what I tell them. Because they're like, right, they might buy a home that somebody's been there for 20, 30 years. Mm-hmm. Their taxes are $5,000 a year. But guess what? The home's $2 million. So they're gonna reassess at $40,000, more or less. So they're not thinking of that. So if you don't tell them, usually either the mortgage lender will tell them, they should, and their real estate advisor should tell them too. So they know and they're well advised, and they take that into consideration. So it's not a surprise, because that will be a huge surprise.
I know years ago when I bought my first home alone, it was a huge surprise.
Yes.
I got the tax bill the next year. I mean, I knew it would go up a little, it doubled. Yeah. And I remember thinking, they must have this wrong. And I called them and complained. And I actually did mitigate it down a little bit at Miami-Dade, a little bit. Yeah. But yes, agreed. I mean, so Vanessa will advise you of this in the whole process, but you need to consider that. And as a general rule, your home costs should not be, and by home I mean the actual house, should not be much more than 30%. Yeah. So if people
are both incomes, or if you're alone, just your income.
Yes. So if somebody is buying a house that is 50%, the monthly payment is going to be 50% of what they make, you're setting yourself up for failure. And in the real estate market, like anything, we want people to succeed, right? We want you to be in a home that you love. And for me, owning a home, I actually bought a little below budget, because I know I love to travel.
Yes.
And I know I have all kinds of other
and
hobbies.
I was going to get there.
Yes. So for me, I love my home. And now I have a partner, but for a long time it was just my son and I. We don't need a huge home. I needed a home that I could afford. My home is my sanctuary. I love living in Miami Shores, the community, the family, it's family oriented, and I can afford it. Yeah. So I travel a lot.
I just had an instant. One of my buyers, he was a seller and a buyer. He bought a house 5-6 years ago, and it was a little house. Now he got married. She's expecting a baby. It was really a two big dogs, cats, this and that. And he was very nervous into coming into the next step. And I said, okay, well, I don't know how much money you make. And he didn't disclose, but I'm like, I sat him down with a lender, and they went over all his, expenses, and the same thing, how much costs and this and that. But he was still very nervous. So for me, he calls me, and he, most of my clients become friends after a while. Mm-hmm. And he's, the wife, they're both into their early 30s. And he's like, what would you do? And I said, listen, I'm in my mid 50s. Right. I wouldn't, because my life is completely different, right? My kids are out in college. For me, it's more important to travel, to do experiences, right? I don't need a bigger house. But when I was in my early 30s, yes, I wanted the bigger house with the pool, with the guest house, that I was going to raise my family.
Right.
And he goes, okay, I got it. He was just nervous. He could
Yes.
afford it,
Yes.
but I was like, listen, I don't want to hustle anymore. I mean, I still do, and I'll probably hustle until I die, but I don't, yes, but that's just my personality. But I don't want to put another bigger mortgage, right? I want to say like we do, like we went to Turkey, and I know you travel a lot, that I can do that with my family and friends. But he's in a different point of his life.
Yes.
And I said, that makes sense to you.
100%.
If somebody else in their 50s tells me that, I'm like, do you really need that bigger house?
Yeah.
What experiences do you want? For me right now, it's about experiences.
Me too.
So it's about age.
It is. There's a lot to be said about that. And when you're younger, a house is, not that it's not a priority. I love my home. I love coming home to my home. But I don't want that to be the main thing I spend my money on anymore. But when you're younger and you're raising a family, the home is like, it's your central place. Yes. And so maybe you do want to invest more, but it all goes back to having a budget. So like your client could afford it and you knew he could afford it. That's a different story. But if somebody wants that bigger house because they're raising a family, but they've never done the numbers, you don't want to hurt yourself by thinking you're helping yourself, but in the end you can't afford it. So it really comes down to knowing what you want and knowing your finances. Yeah. And then you can take the leap, and it's not so much a leap of faith, it's a leap that you strategically planned. You know, my backstory is that I grew up poor. I grew up in a family, we didn't have money, it was very hand to mouth, just getting by, and I didn't want to live like that. So I got a college degree, but then I started investing at 23. And investing at 23 changed the course of my life. And like you said, because I hear people say, well, I don't have any money to invest. I guarantee you've got $50 a month, $100 a month. And if you're 20, 21, 22, and you can start investing that even at 5% interest rate, you're going to make money on your money. It is the key.
Yeah, and just leave it there, forget about it.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Yes.
Don't touch it.
Yes.
And automate it out of either your paycheck or your bank account so that it's automatically coming out and you don't think about it. And learn to live without it. And then watch your money grow, and that's really fun.
Money, it's an energy, it's a currency, like you were saying, right? Yeah. So a lot of people have a bad connotation. I don't know why. I think it's just the way we were brought up, right? Wanting money being bad. I don't think it's bad. You just need to learn how to use it.
Correct.
Right? And not have a scarcity mindset, which a lot of people do.
So many people have a scarcity mindset. And to me, I tell my clients, I tell the people I teach, money is completely neutral. You bring the positive energy to it or the negative energy to it, but you do bring it. Yeah. And you have to think, and if your mindset is like, I'm always going to be broke, I'm never going to be able to afford a house, oh my God, I can barely pay my bills, I live paycheck to paycheck, that's scarcity.
Yes.
I say, I have unlimited potential. Money is a thing that I can choose to put my energy behind. And even though I grew up poor, I was not poor as soon as I became adult and started practicing money in a way that isn't difficult. And I think that's another myth, is that people think money is difficult. Money is not difficult. We make it difficult because we do these stumbling blocks and we don't know. So it needs to be taught in schools. But once you know it, you realize, oh, there's really just some basic things that I need to do that will start to create wealth in my life. And I find it fascinating. Money for me is a positive, it's fascinating. I get to direct it how I want in my life and hopefully help others learn how to do that. And I want to talk a little bit about the credit score too, as it comes to mortgages, because one of the things that I see is a huge problem, I call it the buy now, pay later attitude that's out there. If you are charging up credit cards and you cannot pay that credit card in full and on time every month, I recommend you really don't even have a credit card, because once you start going into credit card debt, the interest rates are astronomical and you will start being upside down. Yeah. And if you're late on a credit card payment or any installment loan for more than 30 days, you can drop your credit score, or the credit bureaus can drop your credit score 100 points. That can destroy your credit. And then when you go to buy that home and you don't have good credit, guess what? Your interest rate's going higher, if you can even get approved. So the credit score is, to me, it's like the line that runs through everything. Grow your credit score and then protect it.
Throughout, because also, you know, just getting, not only a home, just getting a car, or going and buying furniture, or, you know, appliances for your home, or just traveling anywhere. You know, the amount of opportunities, like, you know, I have an American Express Platinum. I choose it because I love to travel like you, and it just gives me so many travel advantages. And that's period. But if I didn't have a good credit score, I wouldn't be able to afford that. And the same thing, I pay my credit cards at the end of the month. If not, I don't charge it.
Right.
But it's a habit that needs to be formed.
Yes.
And it needs to be taught.
Yes.
Right?
It does.
Unfortunately, yes. And a lot of people don't. And I think it's a taboo. A lot of people don't talk about money.
You know.
And if they do, it's a bad connotation. Do not spend that because you're gonna, as parents,
yes.
What are you doing? Instead of being, honey, let's sit down, let's have this talk. Money's not bad, but you need to learn how to work it, or that it works for you.
100%.
Right.
And money gets a connotation to me that it shouldn't. And we get that, we all have heard money doesn't grow on trees. Yes. What do you think? I'm made of money. And, has it ever come out of my mouth with my son? Possibly, but that is not what I believe. I believe that money is a tool, and I believe that we need more education around money, which is one of the main reasons I started my company, because I knew it wasn't out there. And then we need to make money work for us. Budgeting is a key. Keeping your credit score high is a key. Staying on a credit card debt, a key. Yeah. And really knowing who are you and what is important. And I tell people, if you're looking at the dress or the tennis shoes or whatever it is that you really like, and that $100 to put in your investment account, think about those are going to be gone in a year or two, and that money is going to multiply for your future. Your present, I believe in living in the moment, but I also believe that in this moment you have to plan for your future.
So you're writing a book?
I am writing a book.
Okay, can we talk about it? Or?
We can talk about it. I'm about halfway through. Okay. I have a few titles in mind, but awesome. I haven't picked yet. And basically it's a book about money, teaching core money habits, positive money mindset, and the principles you need to know, but in a holistic way, because I'm also a native plant pollinator gardener. I love nature, and I believe that nature and money need to work together. And I don't think many people are talking about that, and our planet needs help.
Yes.
And we need to be educated about that too. So in this book, you will learn from me and my experience and expertise about money and nature and how they go hand in hand. And basically both help us live a more free, beautiful life, and they're not mutually exclusive. So I'm bringing it together in a book.
I love it.
Title to be announced.
Congratulations.
Thank you. To talk about a couple things that I do besides the one-on-one coaching. I go into businesses, small or large, and I do financial wellness programs. And I come in and I work with the employer to educate their employees on core money principles, positive money mindset, good money habits, and also something that's not often talked about but is everywhere is how does money and the way you're behaving with money affect your relationships, because 100% it affects your relationship.
Yes.
And people don't want to talk about
that.
They
don't. Yes.
I want to talk about it.
Yes.
I want to talk about it. I want to remove that taboo, get it out there. So if there's any employers out there that want to educate their staff, and again, I can do it in person, which I prefer, or Zoom, and I travel to do this, but that is something I care very much about, putting financial wellness programs into nonprofits and businesses. And then I'm also a public speaker. So if you want someone to talk about money at an event, again, corporations, nonprofits, I'm open, I'm willing to travel. This is my passion. And I'm also the pollinator gardener. So anything where you want to bring the two together, I'm happy to do it. And I love what I do.
Yeah,
and I care very much.
We can tell it comes across. As soon as I met you, I don't know, a couple years ago, maybe in some event in Miami Shores.
We met for the first time. Yeah. You actually were the realtor at a house that I was considering buying.
Okay.
But that was many years ago. Well, we didn't really know each other. Okay. I just remember. But then we saw each other at the gym.
Okay, there you go.
We saw each other at the gym, and then it clicked, and we've been friends ever since. Awesome. And, I know this is what I was meant to do. I know I'm meant to share this with the world. And so reach out to Susan Howell at the Money Maestra, and you can follow me on Instagram or LinkedIn at the Money Maestra.
Yes, and two things that we wanted to ask that we ask every guest that would come here. What's a special place in Miami Shores? And then who else do you think we should invite to share this platform with?
One of my favorite places in Miami Shores is my garden.
Yeah, okay.
I love my pollinator garden, and I love Mary Benton, who is the founder of Bon By Beauty, who is my diagonal next door neighbor. She has probably one of the most, if not the most incredible garden in Miami Shores. So for me, being in a garden or being at the beach, I love to just look at the ocean, say, I live in Miami, one of the most beautiful cities in the country, So I would say in a garden or at the
beach.
at the
Yes.
beach, at the ocean.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to connect with nature.
For-
Even 5
it
minutes a day, it just grounds you. Yeah, when I feel like I'm
It grounds
so stressed and just a lot going on, I actually go and walk on my grass or just sit in my front door with my coffee and I just look at my trees.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
do.
like, I need to look at a
Yes,
tree.
you
I
need
need
to do that.
Yeah.
And talking about energy, okay, nature
Yeah.
has incredible energy,
Yeah.
and it's like it's stillness and yet it's dynamic. It's this kind of combination of the two. And for me, I spend time in nature every single morning. Who do I think should come to be a guest next? Let me see. I think Nicole, who has a Pilates studio
Yes.
here.
Okay.
Nicole
That
would
was
be
funny.
an
I was at
amazing
dinner
guest.
with her last night.
Okay, because again, Nicole is an expert in Pilates. She was trained not by Joseph Pilates, but by
Lolita, like
right
second-
under
yes,
Joseph Pilates.
yes.
I've been to her one-on-one sessions. Amazing. And health is part of wealth, and health is part of everything, right? Buying a home, you want to be healthy to enjoy
course,
your home.
of course.
So for me, if you take money, health, nature, you combine them, that's like the trifecta.
Yeah.
So I would say Nicole.
Oh,
Welcome.
this was
a lot-
amazing.
Yeah, it was so
Yes.
much fun.
Thank
Always
you.
nice to be with you and spend
too.
time with you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks.